What's up, guys? Superman Pimp Daddy Magnum here, and today I'm going to teach you how to achieve anything that you set your mind to. Anything. Whether you want to be a Navy SEAL, you want to be a surfer, or you want to make videos with midgets, it doesn't matter. This is how you do it. Okay, so before we go into the logical steps, we have to start with the fundamental understandings. So the first principle that's most important to understand is understanding the duality of yourself. Okay, now what does that mean? There is a higher self, and there's a lower self. There is fear, and there's belief. There is love, hate, simple shit, right? But the importance of this is to understand the duality of your higher self and your lower self. So there are two parts of you always at conflict. There's one part of you that wants to be comfortable, that wants to do things that feel good, and that part of you will sacrifice anything in order to get it. That's why people struggle with addiction. That's why people struggle to quit doing things that they know destroy themselves. So, in order to overcome that, you have to develop an understanding of that and realize you also have a higher self. Now, the paradox of the higher self and the lower self is that the lower self always wants to be comfortable, but the higher self always wants to evolve. But the problem there, and the reason they're always at war, is that in order to evolve, you can't be comfortable. You have to step out of your comfort zone and do things that put pressure on you. So they're always going to fight each other. And your higher self is your best interest in mind, but your lower self wants to be comfortable. So it's willing to sabotage anything. Your health, your family, your goals, your ambition. Your lower self will do anything to overcome that. So you have to understand that in order to start overcoming it. Okay. Once you develop an understanding of that, you have to embody who you want to become. So what that means is take some time, soul search, start figuring out who you are, what you want to do, why you want to do it. And then once you figure that out, embody it. You have to get yourself as close to whatever that is. You have to do things to set yourself in alignment with that. If you want to become a boxer, you can't do it on your own. You need to embody what a boxer is. You need to start joining a boxing gym. You need to set goals to develop your cardio, to run every day. You have to embody the goals so that you slowly become it over time. Because what most people will do is they'll have an idea in their mind and they'll think, man, this is such a good idea, but they'll never run towards it. So while it's in their mind, they aren't taking the actual steps to embody it. So like, let's say for my example, I want to create a self-help non-profit organization to help people achieve their goals and overcome their obstacles. Okay, that's all in my mind, but that's never going to come to fruition unless I start embodying it, unless I'm making this video now, unless I make the channel, unless I foresee the steps in front of me and keep moving towards it. So it's critical to not only understand, but to start embodying it. See the picture, but then write down the steps, and you have to align yourself with it. So that brings me to the fundamental three, which is to align yourself with the source. Okay? Because your idea, do you think it's unique? Do you think you're the only one who's ever thought of what you want to do? We've been on this planet for a long time. Okay, you're not the only one. And because of that, there are different parts of, the world where that idea is more supported and where it isn't. If you want to become a boxer, where do you go? The boxing gym. That's aligning yourself with the source so that you're surrounding yourself with people who are in that same energy. So that over time, you slowly start becoming like them. Because what's the common saying? It's that you become your closest 5 friends. You become the things you think about. So you have to align yourself with these things that will get you to that point. Okay? So now, once you understand those 3 things, which is understand the duality of yourself, the higher self and the lower self, and the war that goes between them, and understanding the importance of overcoming that, because the lower self will do anything to destroy you, and the higher self has evolution in mind, but it's not comfortable. You have to understand and accept that. You have to understand that you have to embody who you want to be, so it's not just enough to think about it, to theorize. You have to actually move towards it. You have to step into the fire. And third, you have to align yourself with the source. There are people already doing what you want to do. There are online groups if you want to be a musician. People all making the music you already made. People doing the things you want to do. You have to align yourself with that, and slowly you'll become like them. So once you understand those things, you're laying down a mental framework to where you're primed to actually start taking the steps to success, steps to achieving your goal. So once you understand those fundamentals, you got to meditate and soul search. So some people have already done this. Some people already know what they want, but some people don't. And in order to figure that out, you have to buckle down and look deep inside yourself. And that takes time. That takes reflection. That takes effort, energy. So you have to buckle down and look inside yourself. And there's many ways you could do this. You could live through life experiences that lead you there. You could take time to meditate on it. Sit down and write some things down. Think about it. Whichever way works best for you, figure it out. Because some people don't even know. Some people are just kind of going through the motions. Maybe they know deep down, but they're not actually mentally aware of it. They're not cognizantly aware of it. It's just in the back of their mind and waiting to come out. All right. So once you figure that out, you have to commit, and you can't look back. Okay? So the problem with most people's goals is that it requires a massive amount of energy and commitment. And if you're at a point to where you're not committed to it and you're still stuttering back to your old self, with the amount of uncomfort you're going to feel and the lower self's desire to pull you back, almost always you're going to falter back if you're not fully committed. So you have to ask yourself what you really want, and are you willing to sacrifice for it? And if it really is what you want, you will be. But you have to be committed, and you can't look back. You can't be yo-yoing. You can't have that, I want to lose weight, but I might just have McDonald's binges, or I want to become a musician, but it's okay if I slack off, or I want to be a champion boxer, but I don't really feel like training every day. You can't entertain those thoughts. There are two sides of you, and you can't look back to the lower self, because that's where you start spiraling downwards. So once you've decided to commit and you've decided not to look back, now you have to anchor yourself. So, like aligning yourself with the source, once you've decided, you have to plant your feet into what you're doing. Join a group, join a gym, remove bad habits from your life. Stuff like that will slowly cement you into what you're doing, to where it'll become a habit, it'll become a paradigm over time, to where it's not really something you're resisting to get anymore. Obviously you will struggle eventually, but it starts, the more you remove all the weights into the other things and anchor yourself in the thing you are, the more you embody who you want to become. So once you've anchored yourself in what you want to do, you're not looking back, and you know what it is. You have to remove all your vices, and you have to replace them. Okay? So it's important that you replace the vice, because when you remove something from you, you create a hole, and all spaces must be filled. And unless you fill it with something, chances are you're going to go back to your vice. But this is important. So if you have a habit of eating McDonald's, if you have a habit of binge eating, or you have a habit of hanging around with the wrong people and you end up doing things you don't want to, you shouldn't be doing, say it's smoking weed, say it's drinking too much, if that interferes with your goal, you have to remove it. Either that, or you have to compromise the goal. But if you decided to not look back, that's not an option, and this is how you succeed. Okay. So once you remove the vices, it's going to be hard, because you're going to want to go back to those, even if you do replace them. So that's why it's important to create a why. Create a why. Why are you doing this? And you have to make that strong, because this is what's going to root you into your goals. Because it's not about the environment. Because everyone gets born into different environments and ends up in different places. Some people are poor and they end up rich. Some people win the lottery but end up poor. It's not the circumstances that define you. It's not the hard times that define you. What defines you is your reaction to the environment, your reaction to the hard times. That's what creates success. It's not about what happened to you or what's around you. It's about how you decided to adapt to those circumstances. That defines you.
So in order to overcome things, you have to create a why. Why is your purpose important? Is it your family? Is it your dreams? Is it to make money? What is it? Why do you want to do this? You have to become refined in that, because as you do this process, your lower self's going to fight you. It's going to do everything it can to grab you and pull you back. And the only way to overcome that, because you will fail if you don't have this, is that you have to have a strong reason to hold on. You have to have something very important to you. It has to be almost worth as much as living itself. Because if you don't, you will give up. I promise you. When you're doing that training to become that world champion boxer and you're feeling the pain, you can barely breathe out of your lungs, and you don't have a reason why, I guarantee you'll give up. But the people who keep going, they had a reason why they want to do it, and they won't give up because that's their purpose. So create a why. And then once you do those steps, refine and repeat. Okay? As you embark on your goal, you will naturally fail. Failure is a part of success. Failure is a part of winning. You will naturally learn things that you didn't know before. So why I say refine and repeat is because as you learn those things, as you create those failures, you learn from them, integrate the lessons into the process, and repeat and keep going. See, it's natural to fail. It's natural to fuck up. It's not going to be a linear journey. It's going to be circles, but as each circle goes, you get a little bit closer to the destination. Okay? So take all the lessons, take all the the bullshit, just take all of it, figure out what you need to know, and keep refining and repeating. What that means is don't stop. Don't give up. Don't run into a hiccup. Say you were losing weight and then you dropped 20 pounds, and then let's say you drove by McDonald's and you decided to park in the parking lot, just because you wanted to do something real quick, and then, oh shit, I ate McDonald's, I binged. Remember that trigger that brought you there, and then remove it, and then repeat. Sure, you're 10 pounds heavier than you were, and you're like, fuck, but you were just 20 pounds heavier a month ago. So even though you just backtracked, now you know what not to do. So the only way to keep going is to refine and repeat. And then if you keep doing that through time, your methods will become more concrete. You'll become more resilient. The person you are will embody itself stronger to the point to where eventually you do succeed. Eventually you do become the person. Eventually the weight does come off. Eventually you do make the money. Eventually you do end up in the life you want to be, and eventually you do succeed. But it's a matter of constant failure and repeating. So that's basically the gist of succeeding. Okay? It's a matter of meditating, figuring out what you want to do, committing, don't look back, anchor yourself, remove all your vices, replace them, figure out why you want to do this, and keep refining and repeating until you get there. Now, this is not going to be easy. It's not going to be as simple as it sounds. This is 6 steps. You're going to come across thousands of lessons as you go. But I guarantee you, if you keep doing this, you will succeed. You will get closer with time, but you can't stop. Because every second that you're not moving towards something you want to get, you're moving backwards. There is no stagnation. You either go forward or you go backward. So you have to keep moving. Whatever you do, don't stop. And that's all for today.